What's up, party people? We got the first look at the playoffs. Yes, it is time that we see where everyone's getting seated in the playoffs. Now, will this stay this way? Who knows? You let me know. We're going to look through all the teams that are in it currently and are on the fringe. There's a lot of teams that are on the fringe of making the playoffs. So I want you to tell me who's going to be the number one seed, who's going to be in, who's going to be out, who do you want to see in, who do you want to see out, all that stuff. Let me know in the comments. I love to hear your thoughts, your questions, anything you got. Also, I covered this in the last video you might have just watched, but did a lot to try and fix some things. Quarterbacks throwing too many interceptions, taking too many sacks. Only can do so much, but it is what it is. It is just the way Madden is. Um, who knows? So anyway, let's get into it. Let's start talking about the playoffs, and also we're gonna look at the award leaders and the stat leaders going into the final stretch of the season. So sit back and enjoy. All right, so here is the playoff picture as we head into the final stretch of the season. Does Madden 25 have it right so far? Well, the Colts are the number one seed, and they have the best record in all of football, followed closely by the number two seed, which is the Kansas City Chiefs. The Bengals at number three, the Dolphins at number four, which I think we got three teams at least here that are surprised. The fifth seed is the Broncos. Not so much a surprise. You got the Steelers. I mean, they're pretty much a playoff team last year. You would think they have a better quarterback. Um, just as good of a team, probably, if not better. So, what does Aaron Rodgers bring to them? Well, right now it's telling us that he's got them in the playoffs, and then you have the Texans, and Texans were a playoff team 2 seasons ago. Um, we'll see what they did with their own line if that works, but I will tell you this: Chauncey Gardner Johnson is an MVP candidate, I believe. I was just looking at his numbers recently. Whether or not that reflects that in their standings, we'll see. We're going to look at that. All right, now let's get to the NFC side. You have the Buccaneers, who just beat out the Falcons for the lead in the NFC South division. So the Bucks are the number one seed so far. You got the 49ers, then the Commanders, who um, are tied record-wise, but have the tiebreaker over the Eagles, so they're number three. Then you have the Lions, who are fading fast. The Falcons, who are fighting with the Buccaneers for the number one seed and the division. Buccaneers are on bye going to week 13. Falcons are not. Got the Eagles. They're fading as well. And then you have the surprise, probably, of the NFC, and that is the Saints. Can the Saints hang on down the stretch? Now, they just lost the Honey Badgers, so that's going to hurt them for sure. So let's take a look at the teams that are teetering on making the playoffs. All right, so here's a look at how everything sits. Now, what's kind of funny is we got tiebreakers here. So the Texans are actually behind the Raiders, but I guess with the tiebreaker, um, I don't understand Madden 25's tiebreakers, but they have some weird things going on. I don't think everything's factored in correctly. But you got a lot of teams that are 6-5 and 5-6. So almost every team in the AFC is still in contention, in my opinion, for this last wild card spot, which is being held by the Texans. You got the Raiders who are 6-5, Titans 6-5, Ravens 6-5, Jags are 6-6, Patriots are 6-6, Browns are hanging on 5-6, Jets are 5-6, and the Bills are 4-7. And they're starting to catch a little bit of steam after a really rough start. So that's a really interesting race right there. You got all the teams still in it, going to the final 4 or 5 games of the season. What more could you ask for? Uh, the AFC is absolutely killing it record wise compared to the NFC, and we got a lot of bad teams record wise over here. All right, so you got the Bucks at 8-4, followed by the Falcons, 49ers, Commanders, Eagles, Lions, Saints, and right behind the Saints are the Giants, Seahawks, and Bears. So Um, yeah, we do have a 5-6 team right now in the playoffs, and that still leaves the Packers and Cowboys in it. I mean, I guess technically the Rams, Panthers, and Vikings, but no. So almost, I don't know, 90% of this league is involved in making the playoffs still, with however many games go, 4 or 5. What else? What else could you ask for? Uh, yeah, there's a lot of 500 teams here. And my tinfoil hat theory is that Madden tries to do this purposely to make things interesting, but I'm not going to complain. I love the drama. So, Saints, Giants, and Seahawks, Bears, you all got a shot. Packers, outside shot with the Cowboys, but I don't see that happening. So, the early MVP candidate here is Max Crosby, and I will almost guess that's not gonna stay there. I don't think I've ever seen an MVP defensive player. I know they flirt with it all the time throughout the year, and then guys eventually catch up to him. But then you got Jared Goff. He's still there. How much can Jared Goff really be in contention for MVP when the Lions have lost like 3 or 4 in a row? And then you have Brock Purdy, one of the best touchdown to interception ratios in the game, besides Patrick Mahomes. Those two are really the only quarterbacks I can't, you know, that I how do you say it? They're the only two quarterbacks that I haven't had to mess with and have just great numbers. Coach of the year is Dan Quinn. What? Well, we're gonna ignore that. That doesn't make any sense. AFC side for awards, you got offensive player of the year right now is Jamar Chase, DK Metcalf, Rasheed Rice, Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram's, I think, almost doing better than all these guys except for touchdowns. You even got Travis Hunter in there. How about that? Defensive player of the year, of course, Max Crosby right now, followed by Nick Benito and Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson. Offensive rookie, of course, Travis Hunter. He's having a great year. You would think Genty would be higher. He's really close to being a leader in rushing yards. Defensive rookie of the year, Shamar Stewart, absolutely killing it. So much fun to watch him and Trey Hendrickson play together. What a what a tandem. Best QB is Patrick Mahomes. So you would expect him to be a little bit higher in the MVP race. Definitely like number 2, pushing number 1. Best running back on the same team as the best quarterback, Isaiah Pacheco. He's really coming on strong down the stretch. That Jacksonville playbook that we put the Chiefs in, running the ball, throwing the ball very well. A lot of great wide receivers here: Chase, Metcalf, Rasheed Rice, Travis Hunter, Xavier Worthy, another Chief, Calvin Austin, another Steeler, Garrett Wilson, Brian Thomas, another Jaguar, Nico Collins, and Keon Coleman. That's a surprise name there. Best O lineman right now is Trey Smith. No, I mean there's a lot of Chiefs here. That's no surprise, as they're having a great year. Best D line: Max Crosby, Garrett, Trey Hendrickson, Shamar Stewart. All the usual suspects, pretty much. Best linebacker: Nick Benito, getting the edge over T.J. Watt. Jalen Phillips had some really good stretches of games lately to get his name up there. Grant Delpit playing great. And best kicker is Daniel Carlson. So let's take a look at the NFC side, where you have Jamo Williams and Amon St. Brown for Offensive Player of the Years over Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy, Terry McLaurin, Saquon. Some great names there. Defensive Player of the Year, right? Or yeah, on the NFC side right now is Yaya Diaby, Boye Mafe. I hope I'm saying these names right. Jalen Walker, the rookie of the Falcons. Let's go. He's pushing that. Lenore, Bosa, doing great for the 49ers. Isaac Tesla, how about that? Offensive rookie of the year right now over Loveland, Matthew Golden. I think Matthew Golden would have been higher had he not got hurt for 4 games. Emeka Ibuka, he's had some really good games. But look at this dark horse right here. Torrey Horton is on an absolute heater towards the end of the season. Hopefully, he can keep that going, doing very well. An older player, but a rookie, JCM. And I just saw his name pop up the other day, how he's starting to catch eyes at Commanders' practices. So he could be a little sneaky for people there. Luther Burden, um, Scatabo, Jadon Blue. What a disappointment McMillan is. He's been hurt twice, and when he's on the field, he's not very productive. I just don't get it. And you have Jalen Walker and Jihad Campbell and James Pierce and Andrew Makuba. Uh, 2 teams, 4 players, all competing for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Great little race there. Brock Purdy, Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix, Hurts, Goff. Oh my God, how's Goff in the MVP race at what number 2? And he's having top 3 or 4 quarterbacks on the NFC side. Make it make sense. Then you got Saquon, best RB right now, followed by Alvin Kamara. DeAndre Swift, he's starting to heat up a little bit. Christian McCaffrey's has been pretty steady. Christian Walker, he's really good, been pretty good. And Josh Jacobs should be better. It's just been very hard to get the Packers to run the ball. They have so many wide receivers they just want to throw all the time. Best wide receivers, of course, J-Mo, Amon Ra, Scary Terry having a really amazing season. You better pay him, Commanders. And then Drake London's coming on. Odunze having that sophomore explosion. Of course, Lions have the best O line. No Eagles on here, which is very surprising. Best D line, Nick Bosa and Dorrance Armstrong. That's a surprise name right there for sure. Boye Mafe is your best linebacker, followed by the rookie Jalen Walker, Yaya Diaby, DJ Wanham. Um, Surprising name there for sure. Lenore is the best corner in the NFC, followed by Jamal Dean, Drew Phillips, and Clark Phillips III for the Falcons. That's a nice one right there. And then the best kicker is Young Ho Koo. So definitely a lot of Falcons showing up. The most yards goes to Jared Goff. And then you got Cam Ward, the rookie, right behind him, Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, Jordan Love, and Joe Burrow. Most TDs, Jared Goff. Patrick Mahomes is catching up to him. Bo Nix, Jordan Love, Burrow. Just these interceptions have been absolutely crazy. I just think some of them, Madden just has it in for him. We've tried so many different things with Justin Herbert. Part of it could be playbook. Part of it could have been his abilities, his traits. We've tried to fix all these guys. I'm kind of cool with Cam Ward being this high. He's kind of got that mo of he'll make a couple of mistakes, but then he has the ability to make up for it and call back and get himself out of the hole. So you would expect that from an exciting player like that. Jordan Love, kind of the same thing. Drake May, I mean, he was what 0 for 9, 0 touchdowns thrown, 9 interceptions when he started. We've been getting a little bit better with him, but there's some awfulness here. Rushing wise, Saquon is your leader, followed by Kenneth Walker III. Isaiah Pacheco, I mean, that's really crazy to see him catching up to them. I think a lot of that has to do with the Chiefs just have the ball so much, and Patrick Mahomes is getting big leads, and he's getting them first downs when they fall behind. So it's more opportunities for Isaiah Pacheco to run. Plus, they have a great offensive line. Even with the losses that they had this offseason, the additions they made were good. How about this? Kyler Murray is top 5 in rushing yards. How about that? Najee Harris, Ashton Genty, all right behind them. DeAndre Swift, like I said, he's starting to catch on a little bit. And then we look at touchdowns. Ramondre Stevenson, 11 touchdowns, but Pacheco's gaining on him. Another opportunity. You know, when you're able to move the ball so well through the air, you get a lot of opportunities to score touchdowns in the red zone, and that's what Isaiah Pacheco's doing. How about Josh Allen and Kyler Murray, both in the top 5 for rushing touchdowns? And then you have Najee Harris. I mean, and the crazy thing about Najee Harris is he's in a timeshare. He's not a full starter. You got the rookie there that is taking some snaps from him. So that's crazy to see. And plus, Herbert has run the ball too much. That was like a weird thing. Reception wise, Evan Ingram's leading the league. Now he was spotted like 20 touchdown or 20 receptions in a game earlier in the season. Really made things stupid. But there's no linebacker that can catch him right now. And a lot of tight ends are getting a ton of catches. They get all the check downs. It's pretty annoying. It's not there's besides subbing out all your tight ends, which doesn't always work. Um, by formation, it doesn't. It's just stupid. At least the yardage is a little bit better. Um, all the receptions are little passes to these tight ends. Now the better tight ends like the Mark Andrews, I would say these are more more realistic. The McBrides, they get the yards. But anyway, that's a aside. Jameson Williams, he only has 60 receptions, but he's leading the league in yards. You just hand him the ball and he goes and scores touchdowns. Chase, great season for him, of course. Metcalf, being used properly, fed the ball by Aaron Rodgers. Hunter's playing great for a rookie. And Xavier Worthy, another guy just like Jameson Williams, low receptions comparatively, but give him the ball and he's going to go a long way. And don't expect that as much from Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I guess things are getting opened up a lot by one Jameson Williams. And those two are tied for the lead with Rashee Rice in touchdowns, followed closely by Jamar Chase, Metcalf, and Terry McLaurin. And as we look at tackle leaders, you have Fred Warner, Drew Tranquill, Jack Campbell, Henley, and Overshawn around the top 5. Tackles for loss, Derek Brown. That's these are probably really high. I don't even know what. This is probably like a season's worth already of tackles for loss. Who the hell knows? Nick Benito, Max Crosby, Boye Mafe, Miles Garrett are all in the lead for tackles for loss, and then sacks. Max Crosby's already at 22 and a half. It's like 5 freaking games ago. Uh, so sacks are up too. I would live with the sacks more than I would the interceptions, which are out of control. We talked about this in the last video, how we are doing our best to limit interceptions better, and you would expect these numbers to be a little bit lower had we done what we said we were doing, the changes we made all season. So, all right, so that's a look at the playoff picture. Our first look at the playoff picture, the stats, the award leaders, all that stuff, and it'll be interesting to come back and compare this to how it finishes. Tell me, who do you think's gonna make the playoffs? Who's not gonna make the playoffs? Will someone else be a number 1 seed? Whatever your predictions are, I love to see it. Who are you rooting for that's not in the playoffs yet that you think is going to be in the playoffs? Let me know in the comments. As always, thank you for watching. And if you can, please like and subscribe. Hang around. We're going to get this league finished as fast as possible before Madden 26 releases. So, I got a lot of work to do. And I will see you very soon. Thanks for watching.